Kurt Helin joins us now, NBC Sports. And, Kurt, you look at this game tonight. Everybody, I mean, there's odds on the Cavs and Warriors series already out there. You got MVP odds on who's going to win the finals MVP. This series isn't even over yet, or is it?
It is. It's whether it ends tonight or not, it's over. Like Cleveland will be advancing. I think there's, I don't know, 25, 30% chance that Boston at home has another really strong night and extends this to a Game 6. I don't know if I'd make that bet, but I think it's possible just because they're a better defensive team when Isaiah Thomas isn't out there. They can get a few more stops. And if somebody gets hot and knocks down some shots, a la Marcus Smart, or Cleveland gets lax with their help defense like they did in the first half the other night, where they're not dealing with the ball movement and the player movement very well, and they're not communicating well on defense, Boston will get buckets, and they'll be a little more motivated at home. Their role players should be happier at home, and like I said, maybe we get another night where Marcus Smart, who shoots 20% over the course of the year on off-the-dribble threes, is suddenly hitting corner fadeaways like he's Steph.
Yeah, no doubt. You look, and Tyronn Lue said the other night, look, the Celtics team is tougher to defend than the Warriors. I don't know about all that, but I guess the Isaiah Thomas being out certainly helps them on the defensive side of the ball. So at home tonight, do they try to muck this game up and try to win an ugly one?
A little bit, yeah. Look, they've got a gang rebound. That's the other thing. They can't let Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love get putbacks on 35-40% of the missed shots. But yeah, you slow it down, you make it hard on Cleveland to score, and you've got, with Bradley and Smart and those guys, you've got pretty good defenders. The only thing they really lack is kind of a quality rim protector. Al Horford, that's not really his strength. He could do it a little bit, but they don't. But if you can make it just a challenging, ugly, slowed down game, you got a chance. If you let they have one of those games where there's nothing can do, where Kyrie Irving or LeBron James go off. Look, there's nothing anybody can do except maybe that one guy who was getting ankle treatments out in San Antonio.
Yeah, I was going to follow up with that, Kurt. That looked pretty ugly. I don't know if he was going on adrenaline or it just looked bad, but you wonder the day off in between, if that thing got worse or not, that could really, change the series. We saw it happen in the West. Leonard's ankle was really a difference maker in that series. We haven't heard anything, but who knows how the time off of that thing could change, because it did not look good.
No, it didn't. It did look pretty painful, and I think anybody like myself who've had ankle injuries over the years, it is the next day that's bad. You've got that thing when you do that. You've got that thing taped up / the shoes tied up, and it can't swell that much, and the adrenaline's flowing, and it stays a little bit loose, and you can play. But once it cools down it swells up, man. So yeah, we'll see how well he can go tonight, but. They still have that LeBron James guy, and he's pretty good.
Kurt Helin's with us here, NBC Sports. And, Kurt, let's look at some of the offseason things that are happening, because they seem more interesting until the finals really kicks off here. There's a lot of things happening. We know the draft lottery last week. Boston has that number one pick, so they kind of have something to look forward to, even if they end up losing tonight. Feeling around them, they stick at one, or do they want to get a more established player? How far away do they think they are from closing the gap on Cleveland?
They are an incredibly patient organization. Every time I've talked to them or even other people around the league, that's the feeling you get from them. And you think about it, let's say they'd made the move at the deadline and traded for Paul George or Jimmy Butler. Was that going to change this series? No, not really. It goes 6 games, but they don't win. They're willing to be a little patient. They're going to look. I would be shocked if the plan isn't, and if they don't go with this. They'll draft Markelle Fultz, who has a lot of potential. They will go hard at Gordon Hayward, who played for Brad Stevens at Boston, and they can make the pitch that you come east. And by the way, that whole Warriors team with 4 stars under 30 isn't in your way anymore. I think that they make an interesting pitch, and if that doesn't work, they make a hard pitch for. There's a really nice class of free agents in 2018 that they can go after. So I don't. Like I said, I just think that as frustrating as that is for Celtics fans, they see themselves as next, like 2 to 3 years out. We're going to be the best team in the East, and we can hold that spot for a long time.
Kurt Helin's with us here, NBC Sports, and Kurt, how about the Lakers? Everybody thinks it's Ball. Is it that obvious?
Yeah. It's going to be really hard. I'd be curious what would happen internally if they brought in Josh Jackson and just decided he graded out better. Because the narrative would be so hard to get away from. And it's not even anything Lonzo did. It's Laker fans are really down with the idea of drafting the kid who played in Southern California in high school ball, who went to UCLA. There's this, and he passes, and there's this, he's the next, he's not really Magic Johnson's size or style, but Magic Johnson in the sense of he's going to move the ball, and we've got Brandon Ingram running around, and it's just going to be awesome. I don't know if they can get away from that narrative. I don't know if they would have the guts to pick Jackson or somebody else if they thought that was the better call. It's going to be Ball.
All right, and then there's Philadelphia at 3, who has made a science out of being in this spot here. Here they are again. What is the feeling here? They stay at 3. Does Colangelo try to finally do something big? What kind of pulse do you feel about Philadelphia at 3?
That's the one where I think if you're going to see movement, probably not, but if you're going to see movement, it might be here. And this might be a situation where if somebody falls in love with, I'll say Josh Jackson just to use the guy who's probably going to go 3rd. If somebody falls in love, let's say Sacramento really wants him, and they're willing to switch 3 for 5 and throw in whatever sweeteners to make that deal happen, that's something that they might do, and then go down a couple and get somebody like Fox out of Kentucky or whoever's on the board. They can't. They're going to add a really good player, whether it's Jackson or Fox or whomever. Jason Tatum be a little bit of a weird fit with their already kind of loaded front court, but whatever direction they go, they're just going to keep adding talent, like you said. But that's the one team where I think they're going to start to move some of those pieces to get some more established guys. Brian Colangelo keeps saying that, and it's not even the worst idea. I'm just curious if he's going to blow it when he does it.
Gee, that makes us all feel great here, because my follow-up really is Brian Colangelo. You mentioned how patient Boston is. Is he going to run out of patience and just start trying to bring in? We saw a report yesterday about Otto Porter. Patty Mills' name has been out there. Are they going to try to go and get that, second-tier free agent and bring them into to his mix, which, he's got some star power with Embiid and hopefully Simmons and whoever this pick ends up being. But do they finally dip their toe into the free agent lot?
I expect that they're going to. Porter be expensive, and he probably gets matched. We're talking max or close to it, 20 million plus deals for Otto Porter, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he worth that?
He's a good he's a good 3-and-D guy in their system. He's a fit, but I don't know that I'd want to be locked into that deal with him. But I will say that other
he's Robert Covington. So he's Robert Covington, right?
Yeah, it's sort of. I think you can do what he does a little cheaper.
Right.
But it's not the worst idea if you think Washington's going to match just to make them pay that. But I don't think they're alone. They don't have to do that. I think that's the kind of team like Brooklyn might make a run at Otto Porter or something like that. The other one, though, Patty Mills would be a good fit, because I think if you've watched him in these series, he is not a great shot creator on his own. He's not like, they missed Tony Parker for that once Kawhi went down. But he is a good defender. He is a solid veteran. He is a really nice spot-up shooter and catch and shoots. If you're going to really trust the Ben Simmons, if you're going to go down the Ben Simmons as the point-forward role, you want a point guard who can catch and shoot a little bit, sort of like, to use. It was a triangle offense, but Derek Fisher with Kobe. Like Derek Fisher at point was fine. You put him in Golden State, and it wasn't that great. But next to a wing who created somebody else who did that lifting, then he defended. He was fearless in the big moments, obviously, but he also he could knock down shots. That's kind of what you need.
All right, good stuff. We can't wait for the NBA Finals to get started so we can get into the offseason and the draft June 22nd. And, of course, Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, jumped on with us today to talk a little hoops as the Celtics and the Cavs tonight right here on 97.3 ESPN. Hey, Kurt, good pinch hitting, man.
Hey, anytime.